quarterback, second year, but obviously starting in your hometown.
Yeah, absolutely. That game last year was probably my favorite game that I played in. It was very surreal. I got the opportunity to play in that stadium, the Jag Stadium, when I was 11 years old for the city championship. Now, we got absolutely smoked in that game. I mean, that's besides the point, though. But that was the last time I got to play there before I started this past year, and running out into the tunnel and just looking around, it was a very emotional moment for me, and it was very full circle to have grown up in Jacksonville and then finally got the opportunity to play in such a big rivalry game. So having the opportunity to come back and do that again, I'm super excited for.
You're training this off-season, obviously back in Jacksonville. Talk about some of the guys that you worked with and how maybe you took your preparation this summer to a different level.
Yeah, so my quarterback coach, Denny Thompson, they've really grown over the years, and there's a lot of guys that come through there. I mean, guys, Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams just did his draft prep there, Brock Purdy's down there, met Mason Rudolph. I mean, there's a lot of guys I could go name for name, but obviously that's a huge part. I've been with him since my freshman, sophomore year of high school, and, we really click. He's a great guy, and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to football, and just continuing to work with him as, the season comes has been instrumental to my success.
How close did you come to Florida and Mullen?
Well, I was committed to Florida for baseball as a freshman. I think most people know that. But, yeah, no, Florida was, one of my top 3 schools. I committed there for baseball, and then once I decommitted and when I opened up, I was like, okay, I want to play football. It was Florida, and then obviously I committed to Alabama, and then ended up choosing Georgia. So, those were my top 3, so I was definitely close for sure back in high school.
Carson, Kirby says the results of the previous season aren't motivation, but coming that close to the playoff last year, is that a spur for you and the team?
No, I don't think so. I think Coach Smart is right in that factor that every single year it's going to be the same exact approach. Whether we go 0-12, which I don't think will happen, whether it's 0-12 the year before, whether it's a national championship, whether it's we drop one, that motivation that we have for each season is separate from the last and separate from the next. I think we're always super focused on where we're at now, take it day by day, because the standard that we have is always going to be the standard. Coach Smart is always going to hold that, and the way that we approach it as a team is always going to be the same regardless of the outcome of the season before.
Carson, going back to Brock, what stands out about his game? Obviously, we didn't get to see him play much in game, but what stands out to what you saw in the practice field?
He's a very athletic quarterback. He's going to be able to make plays with his legs. Very cerebral, smart. He's going to get the ball where it's supposed to. But I think that thing that's going to stand out is, that being able to make a second play and also just being able to lead his teammates.
What's it like to play against him? Obviously, you guys are really close.
I think it'll be super cool. Obviously, we're great friends, but then you get onto the field, you want to see him succeed, but not, And if you ask him the same thing, he'll probably say the same thing. You want to see him succeed, but obviously you want to come out of there with the win. So,
what impact did the Auburn game have on your season last year, and how would you describe the atmosphere at there?
Yeah, the atmosphere is insane. It's absolutely ridiculous. That was my first road start, first game on the road ever, playing and getting real minutes. Like I said, the atmosphere was absolutely insane, but I think it was a big growing moment for me. It was a big stepping stone to who I was going to become as a quarterback as the season went on, because we had to face adversity in that game. I threw a pick on the second drive, I think it was. I missed a couple throws early, and then we had a crucial turnover, and they go down and score right at the beginning of the half. And it was either okay, let's step up and let's man up and let's make this happen right now, or we're going to lose this game. So I think that game was a turning point in that my season for sure, and kind of elevated me and gave me confidence as the season went on.
Carson, what stood out about this team compared to last year after not getting back to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think each and every year, it's a new team every single year. Obviously, you're going to have some returners, you're going to have some new guys, but we have a very young team overall. There's some guys that have stayed through and, been through it for 5-6 years, and then you have your young guys. But I think the culture at the University of Georgia that we have built, the standard, the guys are together, we're connected, we're going to be tough, we're going to be resilient, we're going to stay composed in big moments, and I think that's what you have to have when it comes to SEC football. So I'm super excited to see what this team is able to bring to the table this year.
Carson, what have you seen out of some of these new portal additions at wide receiver? London Humphreys, Kobe Young, those kind of guys.
Yeah, I think these new guys, they bring a lot of talent to the table. And when you pair that with the guys that have already had production in the past, it creates so much depth at every single position that I mean, you look out to the right and you see this guy out there, you're like, okay, I have confidence in him. You look out to the left and you're like, I have confidence in him. It doesn't matter who's on the field. I know that I'm going to have confidence in them, and the coaches are as well, and we know that they're going to be able to make plays. So having that depth, I think, is really going to help, especially playing such a tough schedule in the SEC.
What was your biggest goal for the offseason?
Biggest goal. I think for me, stepping into more of a leadership role is really my biggest goal and biggest area of improvement. I think last year I really leaned on Cedric, our center, because he had that leadership role. He had accumulated and built that continuity with the teammates. He gained that trust. He had that respect from everyone to where he could have that, kind of vocal say. And me, I was the new guy on the block. I was the new quarterback. I wanted to build that respect and trust as well. So, going through it and having a year under my belt now, I think that I've been able to earn that from my teammates, and I can step into more of a vocal role.